Headaches continue for HP, Hewlett-Packard, and its new CEO, Meg Whitman. On top of seeing a slowdown in HP's core businesses, the company, again, having to take a massive write-down on one of its past acquisitions. Let's bring in David Inglis, who's been tracking the story for us, and we're talking about a massive write-down of $8.8 billion.
Yep, and another one, Susan. They're $8.8 billion, and obviously that eats directly into profits here, so huge plunge, unsurprising for the stock. 12% drop overnight in the U.S. session here, and obviously this has to do with this acquisition of software maker Autonomy Corp. Now, just to break down the $8.8 billion, we have more than $5.5 billion related to reflecting a lot of these accounting missteps. The rest of it has to do with just the simple fact that the deal won't be meeting expectations. Now, obviously you have a lot of sides to the story. Let me just get you the three sides here. From the side of HP's current management team, obviously led by Meg Whitman, they're pointing to former members of Autonomy's management team, saying that they did use accounting improprieties, misrepresentations, and disclosure to inflate really the underlying financial health of the company. And a lot of this has to do also with inflating the gross profit margin and also miscategorizing more than $200 million of revenue. Now, a spokesperson, Susan, for Mike Lynch, who was the founder of Autonomy, says these allegations are, quote, false, and that HP is to blame simply for mismanaging the deal afterwards. Now, we also obviously have to get the side of the former HP boss, under whose watch the deal did take place. He says he's completely stunned and disappointed with all of this and say they did conduct thorough due diligence at the time, and obviously right now questions on who the auditor was and really what they did. They did do their homework, and because HP did base all of their assumptions on what the auditor said. And obviously a lot of sides, but one reality, Susan, that's a huge write-down. Write-downs are write-down.
Right, and the stock, getting punished as a result, and we're looking at a one-decade low for HP shares. So what are analysts saying? Are they saying it's time to maybe sell off, or do you buy on bargains?
Well, they say this does add pressure, to the stock. They said this will test investor patience, and obviously a lot of people say it's a vindication, on one side for those people who said they did overpay to begin with to buy Autonomy. But obviously it's not just this one. It's difficulties with regarding, you mentioned this core businesses, of course, slowing PC market overall. They're taking a smaller piece of that pie. Just last month, Meg Whitman admitted herself that a turnaround won't happen anytime soon. They're planning 29,000 job cuts into 2014. And on top of this latest write-down, you do have that $8 billion write-down they announced back in August. And it just means that, from a strategic point of view, a lot of these deals that they did pursue before are not working out, and for a company as big as HP, it's just hard to change direction of the ship, really. So if you take a look at what analysts are saying, a lot of them are saying either hold or sell the stock.
It's one of the poorest countries on earth. Congo has a GDP of less than $15 billion, people earning on average just $375 a year. But it is rich in mining assets, riches that have made one Israeli investor very wealthy indeed, but not without controversy.
Dan Gertler is a 38-year-old Israeli billionaire. He's one of the biggest investors here in the Democratic Republic of Congo.